This is a video on faith, surrender, religion, spirituality and identification. Hello, this is Chris speaking, Shores of Infinity, with a video about faith and surrender. I have noticed recently that many people think that faith and surrender are the same thing, just as many people believe that religion and spirituality are the same thing. They're not. Let's start with faith and surrender. By the way, the last video I made about is there a God lost the channel many subscribers. So the topic of religion is a very sore one for many people. It's something they do not want to discuss. They do not want to think about it. It's a very, very sensitive topic, religion. And here faith and surrender are the two most important aspects. So in religion there can be faith and surrender. They can look the same, but they're not, but they can both be present in religion. While in spirituality, meaning the path of spirituality that has enlightenment as its aim, full freedom, surrender is necessary and faith is an obstacle. I'm sorry to say. So probably will lose more people over this video, but this topic has to be breached. So surrender is to give up the driver's seat and to let some higher force, whatever it is, call it fate, drive, lead, and you follow. You're opening up all possibilities without expectation, and wherever this leads, you follow. That's surrender. No matter what the consequences are, even if you end up under the bridge as a bum, or even if you die, you take this risk into consideration and you do it nevertheless. While faith requires you to believe in something. To believe in something that you cannot prove, that you're not sure about. You're relatively sure about it, but not 100%, so the rest of it is faith. You believe in it. You believe that there is a God or some benevolent being out there that will provide for you. So there is not so much risk in it than in surrender. Surrender is 100% risk, but also 100% gain. While faith is not 100% risk because you believe, you're quite certain for some reason, that there is a being that will catch you when and if you fall. Surrender is you jump no matter if there is someone who catches you if you fall. And no matter what's at the bottom of the abyss you jumped into. Faith means you're sure that someone will save you. There is a savior out there. Someone will save you like Jesus was saved on the cross, for example. Now, someone is out there, some being that will save you. Or even if you die, then you will become a saint and go to heaven or so. That's faith. So faith requires a religion. It doesn't matter which religion, but faith requires a religion and some entity divine, or several. Surrender you can do with a divine entity or without. But faith you need a god, goddess, gods. To reach enlightenment or to have enlightenment happen to you, you have to relinquish all identifications. You have to give everything up. Everything. And that is why surrender is necessary. That is surrender, to give up everything and to say, okay, universe, do what you will, I'm following. That is surrender. With or without God. As I said, it can happen in religion or in spirituality on the way to enlightenment. But for enlightenment, it is absolutely necessary. You cannot take things that you identified with you into enlightenment. The person that will be enlightened will not be there anymore. There is no person who will be enlightened. Your personality is one of the things you have to give up. And personality thrives off identification. Identification with a story. A personal story, a cultural story. Identification with time. Identification with your nation, your religion. Identification with your name, your culture, your family, whatever. But religion is also one of the things people identified with. They identify themselves as being Christian or Jewish or Muslim or Buddhist or Taoist or whatever. That is sadly why you have to give up religion for enlightenment to be possible. That's a very tough message. And Bernadette Roberts, for example, writes about it, who was a very devout Christian. And this is one of the last things you have to give up. Otherwise, you will land in what Jeffrey Martin calls location 3. In location 3, you can stay religious, and there are sub-stages, and it's a vast space, religion. But it's not the same as enlightenment. So at some point you have to choose. You want religion or enlightenment. There are and have been spiritual teachers who taught or teach that you can do both. Religion and enlightenment. In Sufism, for example, that is being taught. But I don't agree. As long as it's an identification, I don't agree. You can give it up and then come back to it later unidentified. But first you have to give it up. First you have to surrender religion and faith and be free of it. And then if you like it, if you still like it later, you can come back to it. The same goes for science and anything that you are identified with, anything you believe, anything that you think it's hard to give up. Then you identified with it. One example is a few years ago I've been quite identified with spiral dynamics. And I had to give up spiral dynamics to then come back to it later unidentified and still make videos about it. Or rather again. Or another example, a story that I've been telling since time immemorial about Swami Vivekananda, who liked one specific vegetable. And then someone came to him and said, wherever you go, you eat this vegetable. So you must be identified with this vegetable. And he said, no, I'm not. I love this vegetable. It tastes very good. It's one of my favorites, but I'm not identified with it. I can easily live without it just as well as with it. And to prove this, I will henceforth not eat this vegetable anymore. So it's possible to be not identified with something and still like it and enjoy it. Happy New Year, by the way. Today is the 1st of January 2023. And you can still enjoy, for example, Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever, and New Year's, Chinese New Year or Western New Year or any other New Year. It's not important because these dates they don't have an objective value in themselves. So some people, spiritual people, they stop celebrating them. But why? Huh? If you're not identified with New Year and Christmas and Easter and all kinds of religious holidays, you can enjoy them again without being identified. I don't care if it's the 1st of January is New Year or not. In other traditions, it's the beginning of February or the 21st of December or some other date. That is not important, but I can still use it as an opportunity to be merry and happy and celebrate with friends or family. It's not about being against something. It's not about being against Christmas and New Year's or being against a certain religion now. That's also an identification, but the other way around. That's the flip side of the coin. If you're for something, you're identified with it. If you're against something, you're also identified with it. The point is not to be identified with it. And once you're not identified with it anymore, you can come back to it and still study it or like it or enjoy it. But if you believe in something, then you're probably identified with it, because what else is the point in believing something? Either you know it or you don't know it from your own experience. Do you need to believe in something? Why? A belief is usually some kind of security valve. What do you need a security valve for? If you want to jump into the abyss, if you want enlightenment happening to you, you have to throw all security valves overboard. You cannot be free and secure. That's two things that don't work together. Either free or secure. Either free or safe. And to give up safety and security, that is called surrender. So, have a good year surrendering. Enjoy 2023 and the years to come. No matter if linear time exists or not, enjoy it anyway. Yeah? Why not enjoy the trip on the roller coaster? Why not enjoy the challenges that Maya throws between your legs so that you might stumble? So what? You fall down and get up again. Our bodily, our physical, our gross existence here is taxing sometimes, is exhausting, is horrible even sometimes, but you can still enjoy it. That's the whole point. The only important thing is not to be identified with it. It's like watching a horror movie or any movie. You know it's just a movie, but you can still enjoy it. You can still laugh and cry and have a good time watching the movie. Why can you do that? Because you know it's just a movie and you're not identified with it. The moment you identify with a person in the movie, it starts to be spooky. For example, I watched the movie Black Swan once with someone who has some personality issues. And Black Swan is basically about a woman who has borderline personality disorder. So the moment the person I was watching this movie with identified herself with the protagonist in the movie, with that girl in the movie, she couldn't watch it anymore. We had to break it off. We had to stop the movie. And it's the same with your life. You can watch it like a movie, but not if you identified with it, not if you identified with your name and your culture and your nation and your religion and your history and your personal story and so on. So have fun. Don't miss out on the fun. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Thank you for sharing the videos with your friends. Thank you for joining me as a patron. Thank you to all my patrons, and see you soon.